And Heche. Ooh. Health update. State of the DCEU. The Batman 2. Alright guys, let's talk about it. Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about the She-Hulk writers have a fantasy casting they would like to work with. We got some Black Adam photos, and overall, we're going to talk about the state of the DCEU. But we start off today's show with a little bit of a somber news about Anne Heche. Anne Heche. There we go. Hollywood Reporter and multiple trades are reporting this, guys. Anne Heche is not expected to survive after suffering brain injury in car crash that happened last weekend. I guess she crashed into a building, and I saw images of the vehicle afterwards. It was gruesome. But her family has released a statement, and we saw the other day that she was in a coma, so we know that she was hurt. And it's not looking good, guys. She's not expected to pull through this one. On behalf of the family and friends of Anne Heche, they just want to thank everybody for the well wishes and stuff like that. Unfortunately, due to her accident, Anne Heche suffered a severe anoxic brain injury, which means that, I think oxygen didn't get to the brain for an extended period of time, which happens. And that usually means that you're not coming out. And they go on to talk about, her organ donations and stuff like that. And they leave off by saying Anne had a huge heart, touched everyone she met with her generous spirit more than her extraordinary talent. She saw spreading kindness and joy as her life's work, especially moving the needle for acceptance of who you love. I like that. She will be remembered for her courageous honesty and dearly missed for her light. So it is kind of a bummer that she's not going to come through this one. And I just felt like I wanted to, because multiple trades are going to be talking about this today, and she's a star, a movie star. So I don't like to start off the show like that, but sometimes you just gotta continue talking about it. Anne Heche movie Girl in Room 13 still supposed to come out next month on Lifetime, which I don't know, maybe they should postpone that a little bit, because she's not gone yet, but it sounds like it's going to be maybe this weekend. The family's made the decision to move on. So let's go and take a look at her IMDb and just remember a little bit about her works. Oh, Volcano. She was in Volcano. I think maybe that's my favorite Anne Heche role. But let's look at the resume here that she's got stuff coming out. What Remains is complete. Wildfire, The Legend of Cherokee Ghost Horse. Full Ride, and then she was on a TV series, it looks like, post-production for The Idol, Supercell, Chasing Nightmares, Wake. So some of these decisions will have to be made as to what's going to happen with them, if they can complete it or not. 13 minutes. Yeah, there we go. Oh, The Vanished. Yeah, that's right. And I was talking about The Vanished mostly because of Joker 2, talking about Folie à Deux. It's my favorite. I think it's my second favorite Thomas Jane performance. It's about these two parents and their daughter go camping, and then their daughter goes missing, and they get the sheriff involved and stuff. And it was good because it's just Thomas Jane and Anne Heche batting off each other as actors as they panic about the loss of their daughter, and it uses that concept of Folie à Deux that Joker 2 is apparently going to be using, where they both suffer some psychosis from it. So it's very interesting. And that's probably my second favorite Anne Heche role because it's so fresh, too. But Volcano was good. Tommy Lee Jones in the 90s. It was kind of like one of those movies that came out like around Dante's Peak and such. But what was your favorite Anne Heche performance, guys? you know, what can you say? Vaya con Dios, right? And Heche. All right. Okay, let's move on. The state of the DCEU. Everybody's going to probably headline their shows with this today, but, I wanted to give a moment there for Anne. Okay. Inside the confusing state of the DC, from huge Joker 2 paydays to search for their own Kevin Feige, because we know that Zaslav over there axed a bunch of things. We've heard that story, Batgirl, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay. But we still got Joker 2 coming, but apparently, the Batman 2 has not been greenlit, which is shocking. Yeah, the Batman is not with Robert Pattinson. It was a huge success this year. It's still my favorite movie this year, I think. Yeah, definitely. But the project does not yet have a green light, which is kind of shocking for me to hear, because I thought at San Diego Comic-Con this year, I thought that Matt Reeves said that, hey, we've got the Batman 2 slated for 2027. And they even released that kind of blue logo for it. So I was kind of like, but I've been raging for the last week or so. Why does it take 5 years for the Batman 2 to come out? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Production and post-production, 2 years at the most. So you got 3 years to develop the script. I no. If I were Zaslav, I'd say, get in a room. What's it going to take, Matt Reeves, for you to finish the script by, say, December? We'll give you a writing team. Finish the script for the second one and the third one by December. Make it so. Here's a bunch of money to make it happen. And if you can't do it, step aside so somebody else can. Because the general public doesn't really care about who's directing it as long as it's a good Batman. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be taken away from Matt Reeves. But, I mean, come on. 5 years for a sequel? No. That's half a decade, man. No. And why haven't you announced that this has been greenlit, Zaslav? So this report, and it's from Variety, so it's from the big trades. It's kind of like got people head scratching, right? Now, we saw the report yesterday that Joker 2 is going to start production this December. And we got a budget for this. The budget, apparently, is going to be roughly $115 million to produce. So, Joker 2, Folie à Deux, with Lady Gaga playing Harleen Quinzel, who's going to turn into Harley Quinn, musical, starts shooting this December. It's weird how that happens, right? Todd Phillips had that script like that. So, Matt Reeves, why can't you have that script out, man? Why does it take 3 years? Why? Right now, it just seems like Zaslav has just axed a bunch of stuff and that's it. He's just writing what's already been announced. And he hasn't put his foot down and say, okay, well, yeah, you told us you got a 10-year plan. So tell us what the 10-year plan is. Let us talk about it. Wonder Woman 3 is probably, yeah, that's going to happen. Zatanna. That would be, I would be up for a Zatanna, but don't go down the MCU route or the Spider-Man route of having all these weird abstract side villains first. I hate that. Static Shock. Meh. Yeah, because all they have right now is the current slate of the Aquaman 2, Flash, Shazam 2, Blue Beetle, and for some reason, I don't get it, the Black Canary standalone movie. A spinoff from Birds of Prey. Does that make sense? Hey, you got rid of Batgirl, but you're going to keep Black Canary? It's confusing, guys, and it's something that we're going to wade through for the next while here as Zaslav gets his act together. But a lot of people are just kind of like, what's going on, man? What is going on? And it's got people's heads scratching. So we'll elaborate here on a few things. Yeah, like there's an article up on Screen Rants that says the DCEU's multiverse is dead even before it begins. Because that's apparently what The Flash was going to do, right? It was going to bring in Michael Keaton's Batman. But now because he was showing up in Batgirl, that got axed. Who knows what's going to happen with The Flash? He's in that. Is that going to get axed? Yeah. The multiverse for the DCEU was going to be kind of like the soft reboot from the Snyderverse. And it was their biggest hope. And Ezra Miller is doing all of that he's been trying to do to make that not happen. The Flash was supposed to unveil the DCEU's multiverse. And who knows where that project, they've announced yesterday that 3-tier plan, but I think there's got to be more than 3 options for that. There has to be. The 4th option is just bring back Michael Keaton to do some extensive reshoots, move the movie over to him, make him the main character, and have Flash in the background. That's what I would do. That's what I would do with the movie. But I'm not an executive over there at Warner Bros. And we'll have to see how this pans out because it's got people, as I said, their head scratching. The state of the DCEU. The DCEU is somewhat in flux. And we'll have to see how it goes down. But let's go on and talk about some of the things that are confirmed with Joker 2, Aquaman 2, as you can see here on the side. Let's take some comments here. Our Glass Viking says, so tragic what happened to Anne Heche. I'm not familiar with her work. Indeed, meaning no respect, I got her mixed up with Anne Hirsch and Anne Hathaway. I'll watch her body work. Yeah, well, when we looked at her IMDb, she did have a long resume, and I like that quote from the family that about her spreading the message of love and being allowed to love who you love, kind of thing. Arglass also says, did he mean 10-year plan or tentative plan? Well, he said 10-year plan. Yeah, and it's going to be supposedly centered around Superman, but it still remains to be seen. Byford the Hobbit in the live chat says, hey, so we'll have to see. Let's go in and talk about some of the movies that are confirmed. Let's expand a little bit on that Joker 2 news. Joker 2 gets a $150 million budget, which will feature complicated musical sequences. Okay, with Lady Gaga. And then we also heard that Zazie Beetz is in talks to come back in this role, so in this movie. So we'll have to see how that all kind of pans out. I'm excited for this. I am. When I first heard that it was going to be a musical, I was like, eh. But it's Todd Phillips, right? So it's kind of like, and Joaquin Phoenix, I trust. The script was good enough to have Joaquin Phoenix come back, so it's kind of like, it's going to be weird. It's not going to be a full musical where they're singing even the normal dialogue. There'll be like sequences. So they'll just break into song every now and then, kind of like Moulin Rouge, maybe. That's what I'm expecting. A Joker-esque Moulin Rouge. Folie et Dieu. Starts shooting this December. About $150 million gives me pause. It does. Because the first Joker movie didn't cost that much. What did they say? First one was 55 million. So you want another 100 million? Why? And it kind of goes back to that cancer that I talked about in Hollywood about, well, if you're going to make a sequel, it's got to go bigger and bolder, right? And no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Prey shows us that it doesn't have to be like that. Predator Prey. You don't need big bombastic sequels for things. So the injection of money does give me a little bit of pause because that's not what made Joker, the first Joker, awesome. It was the performance. It was the delivery of the material, the cinematography, the score. It's not big over-the-top sequences. But I'm guessing a lot of it's going to take place in his brain as she's like psychoanalyzing him. It's going to be interesting. Joker 2, guys, musical, $150 million. Start shooting in December. Are you excited? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. Aquaman 2. Now this one does give me a little bit of pause. It makes me go, what? All right. Aquaman 2 is much funnier than original movie, says Jason Momoa. But wait, hold on here. Are we actually signing up for an Aquaman movie where we are wanting a comedy? I'm not. What are you talking about here? Because that gives me pause. Yeah, pause. Teases a throwback style story to the DCEU. Now, as long as they don't take Aquaman down that Thor Love and Thunder route where they make him kind of like a doofus, because they were teasing somewhat of that in Justice League, right? Yeah. So let's take a look at his quote here. Momoa. I have a great time with, there's a lot of, it's a throwback to, I don't want to give too much away, but we really get to speed up what is going to happen to this Earth. And it's not because of aliens. Okay. Well, how's that funny? Is it funny because you had fun on set? Amber Heard, I heard that her role got reduced quite a bit. You can't see her here. Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I'm... I guess I'm sort of excited for it, maybe. No, excited is not the right word. I'm curious about it. Because I didn't mind the first Aquaman movie, but it's something that I don't find myself jumping to go back and revisit. Yeah. I don't know. Did you guys like the Aquaman movie? And are you expecting good things? March 17th, 2023. Supposed to be much funnier in tone. And as I said, as long as they don't take him down that Thor route, then Aquaman 2, it'll fare okay, hopefully. Hopefully. We'll have to wait and see. Taking some comments here in the live chat. Arglass Viking says, as long as Joker 2 is better than Cats, we're good. Yeah, well, Cats, you had my Tay-Tay in that. Oh, ooh. Aquaman 2 scares me, Byford the Hobbit says. Yeah, and especially quotes like that. Funny. It's not something that I would associate Aquaman with. Anyway, Shazam 2 is something that I would say is supposed to be funny. Let's talk about that. Shazam 2. That's next, right? Shazam 2, yes. Star teases DCEU sequel. Movie story details. Now, this might be spoilerish. Shazam 2 star Megan Good teases DCEU details. So she's one of the kids that becomes the Shazamly. Is that what they call it? The Shazamly? Billy Batson's foster sister. Now, I don't think that it's too spoilerish. It's kind of a long, lengthy quote here. So she just says that she's happy to come back and stuff like that. Our suits are updated. Well, we know that. Updated hair, updated everything. It's really cool. I look forward to people getting a chance to see the Shazamly like this because you really get to see our personalities. Oh, okay, well, that's good. Because they kind of showed up just at the end of the first movie, right? In this one, you really get to see what makes each one of us tick and why it's so important that we're a unit. A unit. Yeah. And I still think Zachary Levi as Shazam is good casting. You can tell he likes playing that role, and he looks like he's toned up quite a bit for this sequel. He's relying more on his actual muscle than padding in the suit. But everybody here is pretty lean. But Megan Good, right there, says we should be expecting good things. And oddly enough, over Aquaman 2, I'm anticipating this Shazam movie. I have more excitement for it than Aquaman 2. Let's say that. But Megan Good says expect good things. That they're fleshing out some of the characters. And that's what I want to hear. That's good news. That's good. So what do you guys think about that? Shazam 2 quote. When does Shazam 2 come out? I think I already said that, right? Shazam December 12th. December 12th. Right before my birthday. Right before Taylor Swift's birthday. The day before. Huh. Very interesting. Byford the Hobbit says, Aquaman 2 was great, but not my cup of tea. Our Glass Viking says, I was pleasantly surprised with the first Aquaman movie. I had no expectations. Tamoira Morrison was great casting. He was. He's always awesome. And even Book of Boba Fett, he delivered, right? He delivers. Talking about Shazam, let's go in and talk about his eventual nemesis, Black Adam. Black Adam. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Black Adam debuts new photos of the GSA, the Justice Society of America. I don't know what... Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that. Cyclone, Hawkman, and other members of the Justice Society of America. It's black and white, though, so you can't really see that much here. Let's see if I can open up some of them in a bigger way. Yeah, they're really small, too. This is going to be in Vanity Fair, so when it comes out on Vanity Fair, we'll blow these images up a little bit more. It's when he comes through there, right? And there he is. Let's see if we can get some of these other members in here. I don't know who this is. Oh, that's Noah Centineo. He plays the Atom or something like that. I'm not too sure who some of these characters are. He was going to be He-Man, but now that role has gone to somebody else. Oh, there's Pierce Brosnan. I don't know who this is. Who's this? Some girl? Well, I don't know what's going on there with the weird kind of mist kind of thing. Very interesting. I don't know why it has to be black and white, though. I guess it's just an artistic choice. Pierce Brosnan there. Very interesting choice to be in a movie, comic book movie. Some people say that his acting is not all that great, but I like Pierce. And I did like him as James Bond. All right. And then the last one is Hawkman. Aldous Hodge. And that's something that I'm anticipating from Black Adam. Because we saw him in The Invisible Man. And he was like the cop that was the friend to her. And yeah, he's got the physique to fill out this role, and I'm excited for it, for sure. And we're edging closer now to Black Adam. And what is it? It's October, right? October is when this comes out. October is Black Adam, right? James. There we go. Black Adam is October 10th, right? Or 21st. October 21st, right? No? Yes? October... Yeah. No? Ah, who cares? We don't need the exact date right now. It'll eventually come out. But what do you guys think about some of these images from Black Adam? Interesting. DC fandom trailer. All right. Arglass says in the live chat, yeah, Shazam struck a great balance with comedy and good storytelling with the first movie. Long may it continue. Yeah, for sure. And I think I'm hoping that the villains with Helen Mirren and who's the other? Why am I drawing a blank on her name? Helen Mirren is playing one of the bad guys. Come on, James. She was in Charlie's Angels, and why is this page being so slow? Come on. Teth Adam. All right, who? It's going to eat away at me until I get the last name of this other actress. I could see her face. She was in Kill Bill. I hate when this happens. You got to get it out of your system. Oh, come on. Why is she not on the top of... Oh, no. No, I'm thinking of Shazam villains. Yeah, Shazam villains. What am I talking about? Not Black Adam. Not Black Adam. James? Oh, come on. Oh, I hate jumping through hoops like this. I really do. But I got to solve this. Otherwise, it's going to eat away at me for the rest of the day. Lucy Liu. There we go. Yeah. I think Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren are going to be interesting villains. All right. Let's move on. Dredd 2. Dredd 2. All right. Let's talk about that. Where am I at here in my notes? Oh, it's the last day of the week, guys. I'm a little rough here today. Carl Urban says he's still interested in making a Dredd sequel. Well, I am too. I think most of us are. I was late to the party for Dredd. And sadly, I'm part of why Dredd failed. Because I wanted to go see Dredd in the theater. I went there, and they were only showing it in 3D. And I was like, no, I don't want to watch it in 3D. And then I was like, don't you have a normal version? Because that was the time where you could have it in 3D or not in 3D. But they only showed it in 3D. And I was like, no, I'll just wait for it when it comes out on video then. Or like on stream. And because of those decisions, Dredd suffered at the box office. Oh, and then when I actually saw it, I was like, Dredd was awesome. It was a good movie. It was. And I'd be up for it, but it's just not economically feasible unless you can make it for like $7 to $12 million. A small movie. It would have to be very, very small, but Carl Urban as Dredd was awesome. I liked the visual effects in it. I like the small concept of them being in a tower, and that's what you got to do with it, and not make it 3D. And I know James Cameron is going to drag us through the 3D mud again this winter when he releases Avatar 2, because he believes it's the superior way of watching a movie is in 3D. It's not, James. It's not, Cameron. It's not. And then other movies will suffer because of it, and Dredd suffered because of it. And it's a shame because it was a good movie. It was well executed. Pete Travis, and I would love to see a sequel. And of course, Carl Urban says he'd still be up for it, but nothing has been greenlit. Nothing has been known. Let's take a look at his quote here. I certainly would be interested to revisit that character. There's just such great depth of material there, and there definitely is. That was written by John Wagner and various writers over the years, particularly with stories revolving around Judge Death. Oh, yeah. And a lot of great stories. That would be interesting. Judge Death. Yeah. Him facing off with another judge. Ooh, yeah. I want to see it, man. Come on. If, the heavens opened up and you were granted one wish, well, I'd wish for money, but I would, with that money, I would produce a Dredd sequel. I would. Do you guys want to see a Dredd sequel? I do. Carl Urban says he would be up for it, and I think they should definitely make that happen. I'm sure there's like some Reddit page out there that's got like a subreddit dedicated to try to make a Dredd 2 happen. We'll have to see. She-Hulk writers. She-Hulk. Okay. She-Hulk writer reveals which characters Marvel rejected for the show. Really? And they kind of revealed who they would love to have on the show, but some characters were off limits. Well, who were they? Let's take a look at this article up on Screen Rant. Oh, I can't wait for this. I'm excited for She-Hulk. I don't care if people complain about the CGI. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to recap of what it's about because we've seen the trailers for it. We know that Charlie Cox returns as Daredevil in it, and people have been making some videos out there as to why he has got a yellow helmet. But Daredevil, they were allowed to use, and we know that Abomination, Tim Roth is going to be in it, as well as Wong, right? Wong's going to be in it. But let's take a look at this. There were a lot of characters from the comics. We wanted a lot of comic characters for fun situations where we could bring in like a character and think of like funny reasons why they would be in legal trouble. Okay, for legal troubles. But there were a lot of characters from the comics we couldn't use, either because of rights issues, and it's mostly because of rights issues. You know, and it costs a little bit of that cheddar, right? Or there were a few times where it was because Marvel, all they would say is they had other plans. And Marvel is not good at communication, and that's slowly coming out. It's not. It's kind of like, oh, we have other plans. What are those plans? We have other plans. That's kind of like, what the heck is going on? But anyway, not to digress. Let's take a look at the rest of this quote. Of course, they wouldn't tell us, but I will say the one MCU character that really bummed out a lot of the writers in our room that we would have loved to have used was Spider-Man and anyone involved around the Spider-Man universe. So they wanted to have Spider-Man in the She-Hulk series. You know, Tom Holland would have been up for that, but again, it's the rights issues. I think they're either renegotiated already, or they're still in negotiations to renew that contract with Sony to keep Spider-Man movies going. Keep it tied with the MCU, because Spider-Man No Way Home was pretty definitive in severing that tie, right? Yeah. Interesting. So they wanted Spider-Man in the She-Hulk series, but Marvel said, nope, not happening. I'm sure Sony said too, nope. But it sounds cool that they were trying to think of inventive ways of bringing in other characters in a courtroom situation. I'm excited for She-Hulk. Are you guys? Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. All right, let's change the tone a little bit here, and let's talk about some horror stuff. Halloween Ends gets a rating, officially. Rated R for bloody horror, violence, and gore. Well, that'll make a lot of people happy, because Halloween Kills, this iteration from Blumhouse of the Halloween movies has been pretty bloody, pretty gory. And I would expect nothing less than an R rating. Right? And this will be like the last go-around for Blumhouse's Halloween series. Laurie Strode facing off with him. That looks ominous, right? Yeah. Bloody horror, violence, and gore. And we'll talk about Halloween Ends a little bit more tomorrow on the Horror Weekly Roundup show on Saturday there. Because we've got a few more things we can talk about the Halloween series. Halloween Ends comes out this October, and I will be definitely seeing it in the theater for sure. Can I book my ticket already? I don't think so, but I will for sure. As well as bloody horror, violence, and gore, as well as language throughout and some sexual references. I didn't mean to pronounce it like that, guys. I'm sorry. The R rating means only 17 years of age or older can see the film, unless accompanied by a parent. But I'm curious about this, because it's supposed to be kind of like a coming of age story, but it's also supposed to close the chapter of Laurie Strode and Michael. So, Halloween Ends, rated R. What do you guys think? Let's take some live comments here. Arglass Viking says, Sony frustrates me with their cherry pick hold on Marvel characters. Let go already. Yeah. Yeah. Because it generates money for both of them. Because Spider-Man is a big property. Huge property. And so is Venom. Like, I'm shocked that they made Venom come back. They just released Venom for a few post-credit scenes. Yeah. Byford the Hobbit says, She-Hulk CGI scares me. Yeah, but I'm not watching it for the CGI. I'm watching it for the story. And Tatiana Maslany. All right. Now, a few stories here that are going to be sandwiched in between what's opening up this weekend that are not listed here, but they are in the description below. We're going to continue on with the horror theme here just a little bit because this is something that I liked. I liked the Resident Evil series, but a lot of people didn't. And here's my summarization of it. Okay, if you were a fan of the Resident Evil games or stories, then you probably will not like the Resident Evil series on Netflix. If you've never seen the stories or played the games, then you actually may like Resident Evil, the series on Netflix. Because I like these two girls playing off with each other as sisters, and I like this character. I liked her. But apparently, according to Hollywood Reporter, Resident Evil had a solid opening on streaming charts, which is good. Which is good because we heard that the writers wanted to make a second season, and it definitely left the door open for a second season. I'd recommend that you stay with it. If you've only seen the first episodes and you're like, well, that's not Resident Evil, stay with it because it does give some very interesting twists that I never saw coming, especially dealing with their father. Really weird stuff too. Yeah. And I like that kind of abstract stuff. And talking about gore, it was gory. So let's take a look at the Nielsen's top streaming service series for July 11th to the 17th. So Resident Evil was third. Wow. 858 million. Stranger Things, of course, season 4, 2.95 billion minutes viewed. Wow. And then I heard this, that Chris Pratt Terminal List on Prime. It's supposed to be solid. I don't have Prime. So I saw the trailers for it. It looked good. And I hear good things about the Terminal List. That's why I haven't watched The Boys either. Because I don't have Prime. Yeah. So Resident Evil coming in third. That's a lot of views. So, and it's definitely generated towards a younger audience, I would say. Cool. That's good news for me, because I like Resident Evil. What's next? Black Phone 2 update shared by director Scott Derrickson. Now, I like the Black Phone. I did. Quite a bit. It wasn't as good as Sinister, but it was fairly like Ethan Hawke. Very creepy performance. And that mask, you can see here, the mask that he wears separates into different pieces, and he wears it in different pieces throughout the film. But a sequel, and this slightly goes into some spoilers, so if you haven't seen Black Phone, I apologize. Spoilers lie ahead for Black Phone. Well, it's not really too much of a spoiler. He kidnaps this boy. The boy uses his phone that hears ghosts of other victims of this guy, and the ghosts help him escape the basement that he's trapped in. Right there, he escapes. How does he escape? You put one thing together, it's obvious. Yeah, he kills him, right? So I don't know exactly how there would be a sequel then. It's not a spoiler really that he dies. It's kind of like how he dies. So I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah. And I watched it for the performances, especially from the kids. This guy did a good job, and his sister, especially, the sister had a very disturbing scene in it. That it's tough to watch, mostly because of the performances. Because they have an alcoholic father that, well, you know where that goes. Yeah, good performances. Who was it? Madeline McGraw. Yeah. And she's in that movie, The Harbinger, right? So he says in a quote here, I'm chewing on some ideas. I'm not in a super big rush right now, but obviously everybody wants there to be a sequel because the movie did so well. And yeah, you can see the full mask here. It's something I'd like to do, but of course, I'll only do it if it can be great. Well, good. So, yeah. Could there be a sequel? Could there be a prequel? Maybe. But then you would know that if it's a prequel about another kid, all the kids before that kid died. So it's kind of like, it would be dark. It would be dark. Black Phone 2, though. Guys, if you watched the first one, would you be up for a second one? Let me know. Comments below. Arglass in the live chat says, the terminal list was okay, but dragged it out in the last 2 episodes. Hey, what do I know? I didn't dig the Sandman. Yeah, I need to get into the Sandman. Maybe I'll watch the Sandman this weekend. And then I'll give my review. I hear weird things, though. I hear that the aspect ratio is off, and it's supposed to be like that. I don't like it when directors change the aspect ratio. Yeah. All right. One final thing before we get into what's coming out this weekend is Predator Prey. This article came out about the dog. And people really like my Predator Prey reaction, so it's doing really good. Prey's dog is such a good girl, and the behind-the-scene details make it even better. yeah, sorry, right? Was a memorable scene stealer. And I like that image. That's a great image. See if I can blow that up. That's almost... Oh, just looking at her, I want to watch Predator Prey again. Oh, it's so good. That's almost desktop worthy, right, guys? Should I make it my desktop? Let's see if I can do this. Okay. I think I will. Let's see if I can. No? Alright. Sorry, Taylor. I think I'm going to replace you with Amber Midthunder as my desktop. See how that looks. You guys see that? It's too big there. But that is my new desktop, because it's a stunning image. Yeah. Now you guys can't see that. I'll change it at the end. I'll show you guys the wide shot of my desktop. That's my new desktop, for sure. That's awesome. All right. Let's marshal that in. Yeah. Cool desktop image. That's my... and the dog. Okay, so let's talk about that dog. Apparently, very rambunctious on the set. Hard to contain. But she was awesome. Sorry, the dog. Let's take a little quote here from this. The behind-the-scene details make Naru's dog even better. We're trying to get Coco out of the scene. So Coco was the name of the dog. But the opposite ended up being true. We ended up including her more. even in some scenes of the action set pieces, because I just thought it would be fun. So the dog would just wander into scenes, and they're like, okay, fine. Uh, we'll have that dog in there. And it helped sell it. It did. It did. Cool. Byford the Hobbit says, after Nope, I can't animals on movie sets. Well, yeah. Well, that was kind of interesting about Nope, that the lore behind why they can't have chimpanzees on sets anymore. But dogs are cool. Coco is an American dingo. Cool. Yeah. If I ever had a dog, this is the kind of breed that I would get a breed like this. This would be cool. Yeah. Definitely a scene stealer. And you hear that she was rambunctious on the set. And cool. And if you guys are interested in watching my Predator Prey reaction, it's up on YouTube right now. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. It's a full live watch along. So if you have your copy, you can just put your copy on the side there and watch along with me and see my full reactions. A lot of people have found that fascinating. All right. Opening up this weekend. What is opening up this weekend? Hourglass says, I would love the dog out of Turner and Hooch. The big slobbering one? Very interesting. All right. Fall. Opening up this weekend is Fall. Which is about two girls that climb up a radio tower and then the ladder breaks and they're stuck up there. Could that be really interesting? I don't know. I'm curious about it. Best friends Becky and Hunter find themselves atop a 2,000-foot radio tower. Huh. It's got Grace Caroline Curry, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Virginia Gardner. Grace Carolyn Curry. Do I know her? I highlighted it for some reason. Do I know her? She's in Shazam. Oh, she's in Shazam. That's right. She's one of the Shazamly. Huh. She's in this Fall, huh? So she's got Fall, and then she's going to be in Shazam Fury of the Gods. Very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, there she is in Fall, right there. Let's see if I can blow that up a little bit. No. Open image in new tab. That's what I want you to do. There she is. Okay. Could she be Lara Croft? Could she be a Lara Croft? Because we were talking about that the other day. They're looking for who the next Lara Croft is. She's got the face maybe for it. Oh, she's a dancer. She's got a dancing background. Maybe she could be a Lara Croft. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Like ballet, so she's got some training there. Cool. Yeah, interesting. So she's in this Fall movie. That's opening up this weekend. Let's take a look at the tomato meter for it. 71% by the critics and 83% by the audience. Let's take a look at the few snapshot reviews. Forgettable, but good enough to provide a couple of hours diversion. Lots of people pay good money to endure the kinds of thrill rides that make them wish they were back on solid ground. Fall does the same thing, but with the added benefit of being entirely vicarious. Vicarious! What the Washington Post says. Huh. Mashable says, this is not a good movie, but it is a movie that made me cry out, oh, good God. And that's something. Okay. Well, mostly because of the heights, right? If you're afraid of heights, that's what it's about. So, yeah. Interesting. Emma McKay would be your next Lara Croft, says Byford the Hobbit. Emma McKay. Let's take a look at her. I think we looked at her yesterday, right? Mackey or McKay? McKay. No, I meant McKay. Tower like Will Smith did in the Discovery commercial. He went up very top on Burj Khalifa. Yeah. The Tower. Sorry. Fall movie. 2022. Yeah, they climb up this tower and they get stuck up there. The commercials for it made it, they sold it, but I just don't know if you could sit there for an hour and a half and watch these two girls struggle to try to climb down. I'll watch it when it comes out on streaming. That's the way I feel about it. Sadly, it's going to get the Dredd treatment. I'll wait for it when it comes out on streaming. Pfeiffer clears it up by saying Emma Mackey from Death on the Nile. Sorry, Emma. I got that wrong. Sorry. Yeah, right. Emma Mackey. Yeah. She would be your Laura. I like Death on the Nile too. I did. All right. What else is opening up this weekend is Bodies. And I was going to go see it last night, but I changed my mind and I went to see something else instead. All right. So Bodies opens up. 91% by the critics, 83% by the audience. And let's take a look at some of the snapshot. The Washington Post says it's intentionally chaotic and now again surprisingly funny. Devilishly funny satire. And that's what I heard. It's a satire. It's a bunch of these young people go to a mansion to have a party and they play this game called Bodies. And somebody eventually ends up dead and they got to figure out who. So, when a group of rich 20-somethings plan a hurricane party at a remote family mansion, a party game turns deadly in this fresh and funny look at backstabbing fake friends and one party gone very, very wrong. It's got Pete Davidson, Maria Bakalova, and Lee Pace. And I did watch somebody's review this morning from a trusted reviewer that I follow, and she said it's a bit mixed. It's a good thing that it's only an hour and 35 minutes. The satire, it's not a scary movie, she said. It's more of that satire. We know we're making a movie about people, somebody's going to end up dead, and they kind of play it maybe a little too much on the nose. That's what I heard. Gen Z movie for Gen Z's, Our Glass Viking says. Yeah. That's what I get. But I do like the cast, so I'll check it out. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll go check it out. For half price. Lee McCoy gives a rotten review here that says, there's plenty of violence amid the confusion and chaos, but it never plants firmly down as a good thriller mystery. The characters are a bit too much like caricatures, and the reveal is a joke. Oh. There's a reveal in this? The reveal of who's the killer, right? That's it? My money's on that it's Pete Davidson. That's what I would say. But opening up this weekend, guys, Bodies. They're going to check it out. Where would it rank on the Monday's box office? This is from last weekend. I think Bullet Train is going to retain number one. And I don't even know if Bodies. It's a bigger opening than Fall will be. Okay, so let's see. These will be chopped in about half. I think Bodies will be in the top 5, but I think it'll be just like maybe 4th or 5th. And then Fall will be somewhere down here like Easter Sunday. Oh, Argos puts 10 pounds live chat badge. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Yeah, so we'll see where Bodies comes out on Monday when we do the weekend box office report. I don't see it cracking the... Yeah, Bifer says here it won't crack the top 5. So you're saying it won't even make 7 million. It may not. If it comes out on Monday and it only made 2 million, I wouldn't be shocked. But we're in that weird lull of there's no big blockbusters for August. Beast is the next big one, right? For Idris Elba, that Lion movie. And that's next weekend, I think. Yeah. We're in a weird lull. And if a big movie dropped right now, it would be cleaning up. But yeah. So we'll have to see how that weighs out. And that's what's opening up this weekend. Guys, are you going to go check out one of those films, Fall or Bodies? Let me know. And if you want to follow me on any of these social media handles, guys, we did the pre-show today on Instagram. And I just give you guys my thoughts, a little bit of behind the scenes of how I get ready for the show, those kinds of things. And if you want to follow that, if you're curious, go check out the Instagram. We do the after show on Facebook. And I do somehow want to integrate Twitch into my repertoire. It's hard. It's not hard. It's just a pain in the butt to switch over my OBS settings to Twitch. All right. What were we sitting at? 12:56. Let's take a look at the old Twitterverse. See what if we missed anything, and I'll take a look to see if we've hit all of our marks. Well, it looks like we have. If there's any other big juicy stories that have dropped while I've been doing this, I'm just checking my YouTube subscriptions to see if I have any trailers that have dropped. So it doesn't appear like there is any trailers. So, unless there's like something for a streaming service. Twitch equals Indian cinema. Does it? Yeah, so there's no trailers. So let's go over to the old Twitter. I'll round out the week. It's been a good week here on the channel. And film updates. Let's take a look. Love, Death, and Robots Volume 4 is currently in the works at Netflix. That's a series I need to check out. Happy birthday to Iman. Yeah, well, I'm not going to pronounce her name because people... it's one of those names people pounce on you if you mispronounce it. Okay, it's her birthday. I need to watch that series too. If you watch a Star Wars, you're pretty much going to get the same Star Wars each time. It might have a little humor, different animation, but you're always always in that same world. With Marvel, you can get a whole different feeling. Mark Ruffalo. What? Dude, have you watched a Star Wars movie? You're pretty much going to get the same Star Wars each time. Well, a lot of people will disagree with you about that, especially when you consider the prequels, the original trilogy, and the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy, most people just, well, let's not talk about it. But even the glaring difference between A New Hope and Empire. Empire is such a transformation in tone. Dude, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Mark? And I like Mark Ruffalo. That's kind of a weird quote. A little misfounded, I would say. All right. He continues on. The thing Marvel has done well is that inside the MCU, just as they do with comic books, they let a director and an actor sort of recreate each piece to their own style, their likeness. Marvel lets them bring that to the material. Okay. But you know what? One of the biggest lines in Star Wars from Empire Strikes Back, when Leia says, "I love you," and Han says, "I know," that was not in the script. So, yeah, and Harrison Ford is notoriously known for, working with that Han Solo character, pulling him out, not doing the lines in the script. So, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Doctor Who, maybe I need to read this article to have a little bit of context to it. I'll read that later. Okay, Doctor Who Season 14. Shuti, right? Shuti Gatwa, was it? Is how you pronounce it? Original Sin. Okay. Huh. Not a whole lot of stuff in here. I don't need the red carpets for stuff. Who's this? Halle Bailey attends Variety Power at Young Hollywood event. And we've been talking about Halle Bailey here for the last week because she's been doing interviews and press, because I think they're ramping up for, she's going to be our Little Mermaid. She's going to be playing Ariel. And I'm anticipating a trailer for it pretty soon. Pretty soon, I would imagine. So this is a Young Hollywood event. Lip filler much? Jesus. Oh, okay. Enough of that. That's foolishness, James. Okay, there's that Nope movie. Warner Bros. Chiefs Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi are reportedly considering the possibility of having Leslie Grace continue to play Batgirl in a future DC film. Now that makes me very happy. That makes me very happy. Because if the movie didn't work, that makes me feel like it didn't work not because of her. And that makes me really happy. Let's pull that article up. Oh, that's from that same article that we had pulled up earlier. I guess I didn't read it in detail. It's a lengthy read, but that makes me happy. Physical has been renewed for a third season. That's with Rose Byrne, right? She plays it's a period piece where she's playing an aerobics instructor. Sort of like that Jamie Lee Curtis movie with John Travolta, right? Interesting. Gotta stop saying that. Interesting. All right. It doesn't look like too much has broken here. Folie à deux. Set to include complicated musical sequences. Yeah, we know that. All right. Lee Pace. Yeah. Dance Off. Yeah. He was the bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The first one. He was the bad guy in the first one. They had that dance off. What are you doing? Aldous Hodge. Yeah, we've seen these black and white images. Lauren Ambrose has been cast in Yellow Jackets Season 2. I need to finish watching Yellow Jackets. I need to do a lot of these series. I'm so far behind in them. And new poster for Don't Worry Darling. That's where we ended off yesterday. Okay, guys, I think that's it for today. It's been a good week. Thank you very much for joining me. Joining us tomorrow for the Horror Weekly Roundup. And join us in a few moments on Facebook for the after show. Thank you very much for the live chat badge. And I'll see you guys next week for more movie news on Mirror Domains.